Shalom, brothers and sisters. So, lots of news going on in the world, chaotically so. And I would have touched on this yesterday, but got busy with other ministry things and receiving Bibles and so forth, so it had to move to today. But it's happening so fast. It's truly exciting and should be lifting your spirits as you look up and wait for the sound of that trumpet. So let's dive right in, and I'll give you the most important ones, and we'll touch on one or two things as we go. Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi is in Saudi Arabia for talks, so they're discussing their way forward. That's interesting. Putin is going on a 4-day visit to China between August the 31st and September the 1st. It's going to be large-scale negotiations between the delegations of the two countries and their plans going forward. Plans which I personally think involve behind closed doors discussions on our operation against America, for example, and how we go about that. How do we mobilize North Korea into the equation? I believe all those things are happening. How do we cover the Taiwan invasion with all these other movements that are taking place on the board? So interesting always when you see those two get together for days and have discussions. Worth watching. And then Spain has reported multiple incidents of solar panels catching fire due to the ongoing heat wave. Now, why I thought that was really interesting and worth pointing out is if you just pick up the Bible, the only truth on this planet at the moment, and you read, you'll find out that one of the things that's going to happen in the next few years is that the earth will be scorched by the sun. Scorched. Men will curse God because of the scorching. So they know it's part of judgment. The earth will be scorched, and yet they're pushing for solar panels everywhere, and a little bit of heat above normal is blowing out their solar panels and causing fires. Can you imagine how that's going to go down when we get to scorch level in a few years' time? Hectic. They don't know what's coming. They can't imagine what's coming. Rare octuplet waterspouts form over the Baltic Sea between Poland and Denmark. And I posted this picture on the community wall, the posts, and you could see it. It's really impressive. The rare waterspout outbreak occurred over the Baltic Sea on August the 21st, producing 12 waterspouts off the coast of Poland and 8 off the coast of Denmark, including one sighting of 8 simultaneous funnels. I think that's the picture that I posted. A rare outbreak of waterspouts, and they say climatological classifications distinguish small outbreaks, 5 to 9 spouts, moderate outbreaks, 10 to 19, and large, 20 or more. And based on available data, August 21 was a large outbreak of waterspouts. Really interesting. Nature is in turmoil and creation is groaning as we come closer to our departure. And then they say, while individual waterspouts are relatively common, simultaneous alignments of 6 or more are rarely documented in Europe. So it was definitely one worth noting. Go check out the picture on the community wall, community posts. If you haven't seen it, it's worth giving it a look. Then hostage families are furious at Donald Duck because he said probably less than 20 Israeli hostages still alive. Now, he's probably right, but I understand why they're furious, because they're holding on to hope that their person is still alive after all this time. US President Donald Trump angered the Israeli hostage families on Friday with the offhand remark to reporters suggesting that he believes there are probably fewer than 20 hostages still alive in the Strip. Mr. President, there are 50 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. For us, each and every one of them represents an entire world, the Hostages and Missing Families Forum replied. For me, the big shocker there or upset there wasn't really the statement that maybe only 20 are left, because I've got to agree with Donald on this one. But the fact that he keeps saying, I got them all out. Without me, they'd all still be there. None of them would be out. I'm the guy. I am he who gets all the hostages out. Behold the Donald. No. You can't claim the release of all the hostages. Israel did a lot of that on their own. Just think Biden administration and all those things too. So, yeah, again. Gantz calls on Netanyahu, Lapid, Lieberman to form a temporary government to return Israeli hostages. Now, this is interesting on multiple levels because he's using an important point that the whole of Israel is in turmoil about at the moment, the hostage release. The fact that Netanyahu and the current government are saying, no, we're done with these terrorists and their negotiations, which are all lies. We're done releasing more terrorists. We're going all out now to get the hostages ourselves, which could lead to their death accidentally or being slaughtered by the terrorists in the end. So there's a lot of anger in Israel. Gantz outlined two main goals of the temporary government. Now listen carefully. Return all the hostages and pass the Haredi draft law. Afterwards, he said, it would dissolve and Israel needs to go straight to elections. So let's create a temporary government of all of us that aren't even friends. Let's focus on getting the hostages back and getting the Haredi draft law sorted. And when those two big pickle issues are done and we've resolved all of that, let's deal with a new election, get rid of this current government and give the people a chance to say, no more Netanyahu, which is the underlying comment here. So that's interesting. I'm sure Netanyahu will be against this move because of just that statement. And if they do move forward with it, he will have addressed that as well. But it is coming. Time's running out. Netanyahu gave a blunt warning to Western nations. He accused the Western leaders, especially Australia's Anthony Albanese, I watched this video, it was quite brutal, of appeasing terrorism and warned of rising anti-Semitism and insisted peace can only come through strength. And he had good points and he was willing to say it straight to the Australian press, what he thinks of Albanese and how history will remember him right now. And the fact that you should be doing a deep dive and a deep think about yourself, your positions and your government when Hamas themselves publicly thank you for what you're doing. When the terrorists thank you, you should wonder what you've done wrong, because that already condemns you in the eyes of history when everybody at some stage wakes up. IDF retaliates against the Houthis, hits presidential palace in Yemen's capital. Gloves off. The IDF retaliated on Sunday against the Houthi regime in Yemen by striking targets in the capital city of Sana'a after rebels launched a cluster bomb-enabled missile that detonated over Israel. When they saw it was a cluster bomb with the potential, they decided that's enough now, we're going to hit hard. They hit infrastructure, they hit the palace compound area, they really went to town. Will that stop the Houthis? No. Iran's octopus arms can still supply them and get things to them, and they'll keep going until the entire story is resolved in Israel and Gaza. I foresee that the Houthis will continue striking Israel and every ship that goes past until further notice. That's just how it's going to go. Then article asks if Zelensky's gone insane. No, still the same person. Maybe people are just seeing more. Zelensky announces there is not going to be peace. They've already lost 1.7 million soldiers, and they know the only way forward to militarily defeat Russia is if they have NATO's help. And even then, it's a precarious thing on paper whether it would work or not. And us knowing Russia's roll forward, no, they're not going to get defeated right now. So it's interesting. He's doubling down on the fact that he's not going to let Donetsk and Luhansk go, and he wants Crimea back and this, that, and the next thing. And he wants a ceasefire pause in the fighting so that they can regroup and bulk up and get more foreign soldiers in and then push forward again. So is there really an end to that war coming fast or soon? Not when you read articles like that, not when you see statements like that, which he just made. But we'll see how Donald reacts, because Donald's trying to work something out, and then things like this come out. Donald might forget that he wore a jacket. Russia updates their nuclear program amidst colossal threats from the West. Russia's top nuclear official this week said Moscow is facing colossal threats and needs to update its nuclear capabilities. Without directly naming where, Russia's chief nuclear threat is coming from Director General of the State Atomic Energy Corporation, Rosatom Alexei Likachev, said the current geopolitical situation is a colossal threat to the existence of Russia. Therefore, the nuclear shield, which is also a sword, is a guarantee of our sovereignty, he added, according to the Russian state news agency. We understand today that the nuclear shield must only be improved in the coming years. The comments come less than a week after Putin and Donald convened for their face-to-face meeting. They have a meeting 1 week later. They're talking about updating their nuclear program. So that went really well. Islamic flags raised at Finland's most historic cathedral, a globalist show of force against Christianity. Yeah, go ahead, raise your flags. More power to you. Knock yourself out. You're fighting against a whirlwind of power that you can't face. God is God. Your little flaggies are going to do nothing to him. Maybe use them and flap them to cool yourself down there where you live, because your flaggies cannot challenge the church, which is built on the rock of salvation, the rock of ages. It really does not stress me out. It is a sign of aggression towards the church, and it is a way to try and show that they're more powerful and overtaking us, but that ain't never going to happen. On that rock this church will stand, and it shall not fall. We are the church. AI experts no longer saving for retirement because they assume AI will kill us all by then. I just don't expect the world to be around. What an intelligent man. I can see how he was part of being an AI expert. I know Drip Under Pressure working with AI. He can see the writing on the wall. Literally. They have been weighed and found lacking, and judgment is coming, and said judgment will destroy a lot of things and a lot of people. And it is going to happen in a relatively short period of 7 years, or just a week prophetically. And so what are you doing your retirement savings for? That's the way they're thinking, and they're legit right. They're probably going to lose all those retirement savings the minute the whole system crashes when we leave, and the New World Order kicks in, and they start controlling all of the finances and the CBDCs and all these things, and tie it to what you're doing and your ratings and so forth. So I think it's hilariously brilliant that these multi-millionaire / billionaire AI experts are suddenly going, you know what, maybe I should just spend it because we're all going to be dead very soon thanks to AI. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, there is chaos coming, and it's all part of the plan. But you could get to know Jesus, which is a much, much better plan. Then government aircraft are set to dump millions of flies over the San Francisco Bay Area to combat pests. If you happen to live in the South Bay and see government aircraft circling overhead, chances are they're dumping hundreds of thousands of irradiated fruit flies directly over you. It sounds like the plot of a John Carpenter film, but local officials say it is necessary to combat a voracious pest that's continuing to threaten California's natural environment and its multi-billion-dollar agriculture. According to a Thursday news release from the California Department of Food and Agriculture, 2 invasive female Mediterranean fruit flies, medflies, were detected in San Jose earlier this month, leading to a produce quarantine in 115 square miles of Santa Clara County. Interesting. So Bill Gates probably had a hand in modifying these fruit flies, so who knows, they might have bolt-on mosquitoes or all sorts of viruses, or bite you and make you not like meat anymore. Anything's possible these days. Sounds like science fiction movies or fantasy, but it's not. Scientists are using their abilities for evil and genetically tinkering with nature to their own detriment. And so, yeah, I would not be happy with the altered millions of flies being dumped over you right now. They are more and more actively destroying nature and destroying our food supply, and it's all with a reason. Got to get those numbers down. And by numbers, I mean us, the carbon they're trying to reduce. Tucker Carlson, don't know why anyone's still watching him. His interview is arguing that the United States should have sided with Hitler, and it garners millions of views. The sad reality being that people are listening, and as a result, hearts are being hardened against Israel as a nation. Again, just showing his true colors, and again, such a large platform changing and swaying the view of the world against Israel for those who were still like on the line here and trying to make up their minds following someone like that. And you know what always gets me with these kind of stories, and I've seen a lot of them in the last 2 years, is the focus on Hitler being a good guy, having some great plans, really being awesome, you know, and they didn't really mean bad, and this and that and the next thing, to the point that if Hitler had to return from the grave, most of us would recognize him, and he'd make a really good Antichrist, as some prophecy teachers have postulated as a possibility. I digress. Trump mobilizes 1,700 National Guard across 19 states amidst immigration and crime crackdown. Documents obtained by Fox News showed planning for activations in Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Mexico, Ohio, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. My apologies if I've pronounced them incorrectly. From South Africa. The status is effective from August through mid-November, and Texas is projected to host the most significant Guard presence. Isn't that because Texas is your biggest state? The National Guard soldiers being mobilized will effectively serve as a support pillar to a sweeping federal interagency effort, while also being a visible deterrent force, the U.S. defense officials said. The service members supporting ICE will be performing case management, transportation, logistical support, clerical functions, and so on. Now, let me give you both sides of the argument from where I'm sitting in sunny, really hot South Africa right now. Number one, other articles will tell you that where he's already mobilized troops, crime is down. So, oops, it's working. Number two, instead of having your troops all over the world in hot zones everywhere else, in everybody else's business, having them actively do something good for your own country is a much better plan. But number three, that's the important one you shouldn't forget, regardless of my first 2 points. This is getting you used to seeing troops on the ground in your streets, ready to act on any orders they receive from those above. So that when the New World Order crackdown comes, when they do need to cart off those Christians after we're gone to their camps and to whatever places they've prepared with their guillotines, then they are there to be able to do what needs to be done, to enforce order, New World Order. So there's that too. U.S. military is preparing attacks on Mexican cartels. The administration directed the military to prepare for lethal strikes against targets inside Mexico. U.S. warships patrol the waters around Venezuela over cartels as Maduro deploys 4.5 militiamen. So an entire new front and chaos opening up there. Israel's militarily moving forward with plans to take over Gaza City. Iran has warned it's prepared for any Israeli attack, announcing it's developed missiles with greater capabilities. United States-Taiwan military cooperation raises the risk of a Taiwan Strait conflict. It's chaos with tensions, wars, rumors of wars, kingdoms against kingdoms, nations against nations. Everything the Lord Jesus Christ said was going to happen, what it would look like at the end of the age, is now. This is what it looks like. It looks like Tuesday, 2025, 26 August. This is what it looks like at the end. Behold, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. So remember that. Regardless of anything you hear and see, there's nothing to fear. God has got you. He has had you this entire journey to here And from here to the end of our race, He has you. He has promised to be with you. What can man do to me? God has got me through it all. He will be with us. And then finally, on an unrelated note to world news, that's some of the world news. Thank you to everyone who prayed and has been praying for my friend Pastor Ngwenya that's been in hospital for a while now. They've now finally released him, so he's doing better and he's gone home. I will be going around his house and checking on him tomorrow and just making sure he's okay and praying with him some more. But God is busy listening to those prayers, and He is busy working in the pastor's life and his family's lives and his congregation's lives. God bless you all. Keep looking up. Shalom.
Wow.
Chief Meteorologist Matt Brode, we just got some video of a storm moving through Phoenix, courtesy of KPNX. Look at that.
Those are live aerials. We've been tracking that dust storm. We actually have two dust storm warnings. We had one just south of Casa Grande. This one moving right through Phoenix as we speak. Oftentimes, this is because of the storms in Tucson. There were just big wind makers, and it elevates that top loose soil, the topsoil. And I tell you, hopefully they can get some rain, because that's really the thing that will quell it the quickest. But always pull aside, stay alive. And we see this usually year after year, and we oftentimes see it along I-10, a very dangerous place to see these walls of dust, as we call those. Let's just sit on this for a few more seconds, because I tell you, it's not too often we get to see these aerials. But once again, you are looking live from the aerials from KPNX, from the chopper, as they track a real-time dust storm rolling right into central, or at least the southern portions of Phoenix. We'll see how far in there it gets before the rain falls. Wow.